Hi everyone, how is everybody doing? So I have a very strange history. My sessions are often before the lunch. So, but today I've been spared with that particular challenge. But thank you for the organizers. Great show so far. So my name is Lux. I'm from Shell. I work as a product manager. And today we're going to speak about a very different topic compared to what we have seen so far and what we're going to see in terms of AI, right? So, is that working? You can check. Just spare me a minute. Okay, all right. Okay, so standard disclaimer. You don't have to read it fully for me, but thanks to our legal team, it may contain some forward-looking statements, so if you choose to make any investment decisions, please be aware of the risks. Very simple. All right, just a bit about myself. Thank you for the introduction. So I've been with Shell for about 10 years. I've worked in different roles, both in AI as well as now on product side. And one of the things which is very passionate and very sort of, which I really care about is the business value and the value which we deliver to our customers, right? But speaking about value, did you know that 80% of the AA projects don't make any money? This is not what I am saying, but this is according to Gartner, right? So imagine we are in India's top AA conference, and I'm saying that 80% of AA projects don't make any money, right? So that means that you can take your money, go to Las Vegas, and probably you have a better chance of making money than investing in AA projects. Now, it's a very controversial statement. It's meant to sort of bring your attention, but it's the truth, right? Why is that? So there are a lot of technological reasons, technical feasibilities, right? So a lot of the solution for that, you will find it in the other sessions. But there is also another world of customer understanding and market understanding, right? So a lot of the AA projects do fail because they don't know what the customer wants, or the customers don't know what this product is all about, right? Now, it doesn't matter whether you are an AI researcher or a product person, anything which you want to take it to the customer, if you care that your customers want to be happy and adopt your product, this talk is for you, right? So I'm not going to go deep technical on AI, so if anybody is interested in very deep technical, this talk is not for you. But definitely, if you care about taking your product to customer, we've got some cool techniques where we've used data to sort of build that customer empathy. And of course, we will talk a bit about the AI use cases towards a bit later, right? So that's what this talk is all about. So I'm very, very excited to talk about the world of B2B. So if you're there in today's morning session from my colleague Karthik, who gave a very good overview about what are all the different areas where Shell is working. So today we'll focus on the B2B commerce. And B2B is very complex. So we will start with what makes B2B different. And we'll make it relatable for you, right? Even as a B2C customer. So we'll make it very, very relatable for you. So then we will speak about how do we build great products by capturing that customer empathy, right? What is the sort of data-driven techniques we are talking about? We'll sort of give a behind the scenes about a couple of techniques which we have used in our product. And finally, we will also go towards how we can scale this up using AI and Gen AI, right? Which is the flavor of the year, of the season, whatever you can call it, right? And I hope to finish with enough time. The clock is not helping me, so let me get going. All right, so about Shell, again, I won't spend a lot of time. We had a session from Karthik today morning. So Shell has been providing energy to the world for more than 125 years, right? And the key to a business success is to understand what the customer and market wants and keep adapting, right? And for us, we started from selling light oils to light up homes back in the days. But now we're talking about digital and energy transition, right? Which are some of the biggest challenges and opportunity which is faced by the society at large. So Shell plays a vital role in keeping the world moving, right? In the B2B world, we're talking about mobility, construction, industrial sectors, and these are hard to abate sectors, right? So that means that even electric or hydrogen vehicles are very, very difficult to manage those heavy. So we continue to need to support those industries to support your growth, right? And finally, needless to say, there is a need to balance this increased energy demand with the sustainable options by providing lower or no carbon solutions, right? So that again, Shell is quite into it. As I mentioned before, Shell is all about customer centricity, right? We want to treat every customer as an individual, right? But the challenge in the B2B world, we deal with companies of different sizes, small and medium enterprises, family-owned to multinational conglomerates like us, right? So how do we then able to do these sort of experiences even in the B2B world? In addition, we are facing additional challenges due to energy transition. New energies are coming, new digitalization, new business models are coming and disrupting, be it autonomous cars or electric vehicles, right? And these are creating a lot of disruptions. So how do we meet these challenges with these diverse B2B customers and different sort of business disruptions? Enter Shell Market Hub. So this is a new B2B platform. In fact, we have a great product team sitting not far from this place. So Shell does have a great product team, a lot of UX designers. We also have a lot of data teams. Some of our data guys are here. So happy to have a chat about this a bit later. So what is a product vision, right? We want to improve customer experience for our B2B customers. We want to stay ahead of competition. And you will see why customer experience matters. Why we want to do that is to enable rapid deployment of digital solutions, right? In our pursuit for energy transition and to sort of support the society's need for more energy, right? And how to make it part of the Market Hub ecosystem. But ever imagine how complicated is it to develop a new B2B e-commerce system? Let me start with a very familiar place which all of you can relate to. How many of you bought the new iPhone? iPhone 15? Anybody? Nobody? All right, that's interesting, okay. Okay, imagine you're buying iPhone 14, right? I'm sure many of you have bought iPhone 14, not iPhone 15. So I want to relate to you two contrasting scenarios, right? So purchasing an iPhone or a smartphone, okay? So how easy is it? Go to Amazon, Flipkart, we have great Indian sale going. It's just a matter of. Then we have our B2B where you can order 10,000 liters of fuel, right? And trust me, you can order 10,000 liters of fuel in our platform. I don't think many of you must have had that experience of doing it, right? And depending on the supplier and the location, you'll be able to get the fuel within a day, right? But how complicated is it that we make this whole thing happen, right? What are the things which could go wrong with either of them, right? Think about an iPhone, right? So let's say you get your wrong order, right? Wrong color, maybe some guys get the pink color or whatever, right? So you get pulled down by friends. Maybe you get the wrong, instead of Pro, you get some other version, right? Or you don't get the order at all. So what is the worst thing which could happen if your iPhone goes wrong, right? Maybe you will not be with the phone for a few days. Maybe for some people, like Apple fanboys or girls, that will be a very apocalyptic experience. But the world world will not end. But imagine not getting energy products even for a day, right? So if you're a factory, that means that supply chains are disrupted. And if you're a power plant, that means there is a power shutdown, right? So in summary, business cannot even operate for a single day, right? So that's the sort of complexity we face when we develop new B2B experiences for these customers. And there are real repercussions to face from customers if we get their orders wrong, right? So that's one example to give you a sense between B2C and B2B, right? So what will happen if you give that experience wrong? So then customer service happens, right? So I'm sure none of you fancy the sort of experience of picking up 1-800 blah 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 and waiting for that customer and all that, right? So that holds for us, but that also holds for our customers, right? So customer service happens when the customer experience breaks. So it could be the wrong order, the wrong promise, technical documentation not correct. It could be a myriad of reasons, doesn't matter. It's when the customer service happens, our frontline team takes the heat, right? It could be your sales colleagues, it could be your customer service team, they take the heat. But the root cause is we got the customer experience wrong for the product. It doesn't matter whether the product is an AI product or an e-commerce product, doesn't matter. When you get the experience wrong, customer service happens and reputation is at stake, right? So in order to really solve this, we really need to take a step back and create a seamless and clear experience for our users, right? So this is the only way you can create customer frustration. So if you do that, your frontline team could partner you, could be a great asset rather than fixing the problem for you, right? So that's really what we are trying to change the game, right? How do we use data-driven design to sort of build that customer empathy, right? So that's really what this talk about. I see a lot of people in the back. Maybe there's a lot of places in the front, so if you could, please do come. Thank you. So let's break down what is customer experience, right? So again, this is a definition from Forrester, and I like this definition because it's free from jargons, right? So customer experience is how customers perceive their interactions with your company. So there's the two key words. First is perceive, right? It's not your experience, it's their experience. You may think you have a great product, but if your customers perceive it in a different way, too bad for you and your product, right? So that is very, very important in terms of understanding it's exactly what the customer perceives. So we need to see ourselves in their world, right? That's the first sort of realization. And then let's zero in on the second part, which is the interaction. Now, we're not talking about ad impression, social media campaigns, word of mouth. It's the actual interaction which the customer gets from your product, right? So that means whether you deliver the customer experience or you did not. There's no gray area, right? So let's be very, very clear on that. So if you have to really go advanced from here, right, go forward from that, it's really important you get this definition correct, right? So in essence, customer experience is the fusion of perception and interaction, right? And companies which get this right really, really, really can make a lot of money and to sort of thrive even in a very challenging world, right? Now, we talk about CX in very abstract terms. Is it abstract or there is real money in it, right? Studies and studies have shown, right, there is real money. It's not fluff money or monopoly money, right? So ask your sales team or marketing team, how expensive is it to acquire a new customer, right? It's very, very difficult. So you would rather do business with existing customers rather than hunt for new customers, right? You don't want to see your customers churn over to a competitor, right? So companies which invest in customer experience have a better customer churn, right? Have better experience in managing customer churn. And it's not only that. The kicker is the customers are willing to pay more. Why? Because of ease of use, ease of customer experience, right? It's not only you can retain the customers, but you can get more from them, right? So that again, studies have really shown. And the last one is that if you're investing $1 billion, if you're making $1 billion, within 3 years, you're expected to make 70% more, right? So this is again studies from well-reputed organizations. So we're not talking about monkey money or monopoly money. This is real money, right? So it doesn't matter whether an AI researcher or a product team, this is really, really important for all of us. Talk about MarketHub. So we are a platform serving over 30,000 B2B customers in 150 markets, right? And we provide a seamless experience across different channels, right? It's not just website or app, but there are multiple channels in which we provide. That's why, because we want to take the business where the customer wants us to, right? It's not about bringing the customer to your shop, it's about going to the customer where they are, right? And to make it easy for them, right? So how did we achieve this sort of seamless experience across these myriads of customers, diverse markets, right? Different sectors, company sizes, small and big, right? So let's give a couple of behind-the-scenes scenarios. First, I'm going to talk about a framework called HEART. Now, this is not a Shell invention. This is coming from team at Google. But this is more developed for B2C type, but we thought we adopted it for the B2B, right? So now, HEART is at the heart of HEART is not technology, but actually the user, right? So let's break it down for you, right? It's very, very easy for you to understand. If there's anything which you want to take away from this talk, you can take this heart, right, with the love symbol. So you want your customers to be happy first, right? So really you want your customers to, so HEAD stands for happiness. So that means that really you want to know how happy are your customers, and you want to minimize detractors. So we have built measurement frameworks to build customer happiness from the word go, right? Second is engagement, E for engagement, right? So we want our users to love our platform. That means we want to maximize the usage of platform compared to other channels, because we believe this is the most cost-efficient way to sort of serve the customer, right? The other channels, the sort of cost to serve is pretty high. Third one is A for adoption. We want to maximize the users who sign up into the platform, right? So getting them into the door is actually the first of building this relationship with the customer, right? Then R for retention, it's not only about attracting the users, but you want to actually retain them as much as possible. The last one, T, is for transaction success, which means that I mentioned about that fuel order going wrong. Definitely you don't want to go this, you don't want to see there, right? So you really want to get your order right. So it's really, really important that we bake this into the product team, right? So that's what we did. So every time we had a discussion within our team, within our customers, really important to sort of you have why you're doing what you're doing so that every single of your team members should be aware, right? Now, what did we do with this, right? So I won't go into a lot of details, but this is a bit of an inspiration, even if you're a small startup. When we started, we had a very small team with this stuff, right? So literally we started with very sort of less resources, but what we were very clear is that we want to hit that customer experience, right? So from the word go, we emphasized a lot on data, right? So we understood the market before we go, right? What are the customers? What's the challenge which they face, right? How many orders are coming? So we did a lot of data analytics even before we started the product design, right? And then with that, we were able to sort of go into the customer and to do early prototyping. This is not very different from how product design and development happens, right? And the key word is co-creation. I think I was talking to the previous lady from Deloitte, right? So, and customers these days really want that co-creation aspect, right? They want to be part of the journey, part of the community, right? But getting it is very difficult, right? So, but it's important to do, right? And finally, we have to do that validation, right? So it's not enough that you do that initial brainstorming, but it's important that you get that co-creation, right? So now this process is not easy at all. It is painful, but this has to be done, right? Without this, your chance of getting that product design is very, very challenging. Now, we saw what we did with heart, but let's go into a bit of detail, right? So this is another sort of a data-driven framework which we came up, right? So when we talk about customer, who is a customer? So especially in a B2B world, who is a customer, right? So it's important to understand behind every customer, there are personas, right? Now, if there are product design and developers, this is like 101 stuff, right? So, but if other people, this could be a bit interesting. Identifying who is the persona, who's the end user of your product or technology, that's very, very important. So it's important that we need to sort of ID that, right? And let me also make another controversial statement. Again, I'm not the original one. Often the customer does not know what they want, okay? So that's the truth of the matter. Not because they don't want to say or something, but it's important that we, as the product or the technology team, we need to sort of show them the art of possible and to get them what they want. So it all starts with understanding the customer context. Throw away your product, throw away your technology, have a chat with them. What is their problem on a day-to-day, right? That's very, very important, right? So we really have to see our world, their world in our eyes, right? So that's why I think if you go back to the customer experience, you need to understand how customers perceive you, perceive your company, right? So that is very important. So one of the things which we did, right, is understanding the pain points, coming up with design, but then we also did something very interesting, something known as outcome statements, right? So as product people or technical people, we like features. I want feature X, I want feature Y, feature Z. Your customers don't care about features. They care about pain points. I have a problem today, right? I don't care about features, right? So think about what outcome you want your customers to have, right? So we started with the outcome and then work backwards with the feature, right? So and then we use certain frameworks to sort of quantify these outcomes into prioritized. So what we found is that you want to really go after the outcomes which are very, very high important, but which are not served well, right? So again, you have this classical 2x2 matrix, so you need to sort of ID, so you identify the key outcome statements, you build the features to prioritize that, and then you go back to the customer and really ensure that that works, right? So we have some examples from one of the North American wholesale market where we improved the ease of use, right? And we got a good score for usefulness and also good score for satisfaction, right? But note that this is only in the design, right? Now, our challenge is how do you convert this, the design, even at the end product, right? So it's important that you capture it in the design, but that is not enough, right? Now, coming back to the heart, right? In one study which we conducted with more than 50 customers across multiple markets, right? So we spoke about heart, right? So this is the outcome of the heart. So not only we achieved every single metric, we actually overachieved in some of the metrics, right? So this is really, really a validation of this method works, right? We spoke about market share, right, which is very important. So we got a 76% market share within 3 months of going live, right? So if you compare with how it looks in the B2B world, we have seen the same thing taking minimum about a year, right? So definitely we've got an advancement. We think that in some of the markets, we got even 75% faster, right? So you take the time, the lessons, if you really think of it, you take the time to understand the customer, build that data framework, build it in your product design, you have a better chance of succeeding, right? You might still fail, but we think that you have a better chance of success, right? And you can see some of the customer verbatims here to show that this model is scalable. Now, this is the exciting part I think many of you will be working. Okay, what about AI, Gen AI? Okay, so now, my old manager used to say, don't try to do data science before having a data foundation, right? So we used to simply call it data before science. Now, you will agree with me that we have built a very strong data-centric culture when it comes to product design and delivery. Now, the next step is what we can do to leverage AI, right? So let's look at a few examples. I'm sure there are more examples. I'm happy to pick up some of your ideas and brains later, right? Now, we've got tons of data, from system performance, technical data, customer verbatims, right? Market research, sales performance, because now our platform is live. So this is tons of data, right? So we can leverage these data sources and supercharge our design process by feeding into AI, Gen AI, right? So definitely this is a very hot area, Gen AI for design. So if anybody is working on it, just give me a ping. We've got a great design team as well. Happy to explore some collaboration. The second one is scaling your application, right? And one of the big pain points which I've faced in my personal life is translation and localization, right? So this is so difficult if you want to go into multiple markets. And with large language models, definitely this is an area which you can leverage, right? Which we wish we had when we did some of the stuff, but yeah, definitely we'll be picking this up, right? Third one is growing a business, right? So again, we can be inspired a bit by B2C, right? From hyper-personalization, recommendation, and agents, right? And we are working on some of this stuff. But what we need to understand, at least for me in B2B world, don't take everything what the B2C world offers. Figure out what is relevant for your context. Remember that 80% failure rate, right? So we are not running a casino, we are running a business. So you have to be very, very careful about what technology you pick and choose, right? All right, I think I've got 30 seconds before we open the floor for questions. Okay, so if you've not been listening at all, I hope it's not the case. Here are your takeaways. Here's your cheat sheet, right? We started with customer experience, why it matters. It's not monkey money, it is real money, right? So CX depends on how the customers perceive you, your company, your products. Really important you see them through their eyes, right? Not your eyes. And CX matters, right? So we have shown tangible examples where developing CX matters for the company, for the bottom line, for the profitability, and I've also shown tangible examples. Right. Second one, this is where the magic happened, right? So how did we bake in data-driven methods and to sort of capture that customer empathy, right? And we saw a couple of techniques. One is the hard technique, the other one is the sort of the other technique which I showed, right? And finally, we saw that AI opportunities. So I would really say AI is good, but my personal view is start with the foundations, get the data foundations, get your customer empathy within your organization, then AI, you can make money with that, right? So thank you for your time. Happy to take any questions. Thank you so much.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. So I'm Santosh from Dell Technologies. I had a question regarding like in general the B2B design, right? So why we haven't seen any revolutionary design in the B2B space from many players yet? Like, so everyone is focusing on the B2C, like, because, so for example, you talked about the personas, right? So if, let's say a purchaser is my persona, they want everything in one tab, like they want a cluttered view and they want a cluttered design, and that has always been in the B2B design primarily. Like, are we at an inflection point, like we see more and more focus towards customer experience in the B2B space? That was my first one. Second one is like, how much of this purchase process can eventually be moved to online? Because you still need to give some codes, the customer needs to negotiate, and then only they can come to the portal for the purchase, right? So how much of this journey can really be translated to online?
Very good questions. Let me take first one. So why aren't we seeing such things in B2B, right? So I think there's been a change in the mindset. So the first reason is because even though they are B2B, in their personal lives, they are experiencing the B2C experience, right? I mean, I showed the smartphone examples, but every single of your purchaser, they have access to the best UI technologies, right? Like be it iPhone or whatever, right? So they want to have that same set of experience in the B2B world. But there is a catch. But they're very risk averse when it comes to it, right? They won't stand up in front of the line, in front of your Apple stores and purchase that product. So you have to convince them, and that's why we need to use these techniques in order to sort of bring them part of the journey, right? So yes, the mindset is changing, but it's not there yet, right? Hope that answers your first question. I think the second question, what he mentioned is very interesting, right? So what we see here as the customer journey is only one part, right? The first one is things like, right now if you go search for a product, search engine optimization gives you what products, you can sign up for an account, you can do the entire journey online as a B2C customer. But that's not often the case with B2B, right? So first of all, if you have to do company business with a company like Shell, you should have done like a KYC, right? Does your company, do you have good standards? Can you pay the bills? Because we offer things like credits. But even in those areas, there are a lot of initiatives which are happening on deal management to make it as seamless as possible and paperless, right? So, but there is a lead time, I agree. It's not as easy as B2C, but it is happening, yeah. I think there's a lady out there.
Hello, am I audible? So I
Yeah,
think
sure.
you talked about the CX strategy, and I think the data-driven approach to achieve that. But from the supply chain, challenges are there. Those are real challenges on the ground in real world. So how, while achieving, I think you talked about that you implemented.
Can you hold your mic to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You implemented this in multiple markets, but from the supply chain challenges that are real world and I think on the ground you can't solve. So for example, if I'm ordering a 10,000 liter of fuel, and I can't predict somebody, at least in India's context, if there is a Bandh or some does a strike and blocks the highway somewhere in Haryana, you see the recent experiences. So how do you address into the CX strategy, basically, the real world operational challenges?
Yeah. So that again, we need to go back to the customers to see how much do they care about those things, right? So for example, in some of the businesses, we give order visibility, right? Just like when you order in Amazon, you get delivery notification, right? So in some markets, we are giving things like the truck has been loaded, it's on the way, it is going to come in X time, right? So we do give those things, right? But it highly depends on what the market wants and whether they are willing to pay for it, right? Because these are services which cost money. There's also a safety element, right? So you don't want to give the live location of 10,000 liters of fuel, right? It is a safety hazard. So there are those aspects as well. So it's not ordering a box of chocolate, but it is possible, right? I thought there was
Thank you.
there's a person who asked a question there. Yeah. The back, if you want to stand up and so that mic can reach you. Okay. Maybe we'll take one question. I'll pick it up offline because I think time is up. Yeah, please, yeah.
Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yeah, please, yeah.
Thanks for the presentation, first of all. I just had a question on how our challenges in the B2C space, typical challenges like predicting what the customer might order or returns. Do these things happen at the same scale in B2B space, and how do you handle them?
Yes and no, because often we have different type of arrangements with our customers, right? So you have things like contracted orders. So you sign a contract that they would place certain volumes over a year, right? So that's more predictable. But you also have non-contracted way, right? But even within a contract space, you could do those kind of analysis, right? So in fact, we were also doing those kind of stuff, that if you see a certain order pattern coming, but it's not coming, then you know that something is wrong, right? So you can do certain interventions to answer the previous question, right? So you can also do certain interventions to alert or be proactive with the customers, or alert the sales colleagues to do those kind of intervention and conversations and to bring them to the business, right? So it is happening. Yeah, definitely it is happening in B2B as well.
Good, yeah. Thanks for answering.
All right, I'll thank you so much again. Sorry? Couple of more questions. I think the lady. There's one there.
Hi, Naksh, this is Amla from Shell. So the question I have is, in this market hub, are we actually using generative AI to understand the customers as well? That is first question, and I was interested to understand more how AI is actually used as part of this project.
Since you're Shell, I'll meet you in the Shell booth. I want to give chance to the other stuff, but the brief answer is we get a lot of customer emails. We have a lot of knowledge database. Right now, the people answer manually.
Okay.
You can do one-on-one together, right? So
Sure.
simple use case. But we'll meet a bit later, okay? So
Thanks,
yeah.
Laksh, for a great presentation. I'm still confused about one part where you said that, like a B2C customer, right? What your Amazon and Flipkart are doing. Are you aiming towards something like Apple, or you are aiming towards something like Amazon? Because they are two different businesses, right? People still get in front of Apple stores right in the morning or probably the night before when the product is getting launched. Do you think we want, as a Shell, when the product is getting launched or something like that, then people should stay up for the front or at least look forward for the product upcoming?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. If I take a step back, right? Because since you asked a question about Shell, not B2B, right? So Shell has different division, right? So we also have a B2C, right? When you as a motorist, when you go pump up in our forecourts or you use our charging network, so we have a different apps for that, right? So we have a Go Plus app, so we have loyalty apps. So all that which these companies are giving, we also have for you as a B2C customer, right? And definitely we want it to be very much loved and much sought after brand, right, among customers. But we have a different relationship with B2B partners, right, which is more long-standing. And we don't see the normal people don't see that world outside. But that's also very important, right? So what we have realized is, as I mentioned to you in the other question, the B2B customers also expect a better customer experience, right? So that's been the learning. But then you can't go full B2C and then do all the fancy stuff, because your persona will be like a 50-year-old who is not very well versed in technology and all that, right? So, and maybe also risk averse, right? So imagine ordering millions of dollars of worth of product. If something goes wrong, so see how risk averse is it for them. So they would say, can I pick up that phone rather than doing all this stuff? So how do you really make them easy to sort of not pick up that phone, which costs a lot of money and time, and to sort of still stay online, right? So that's the dilemma, and these frameworks help us to sort of take them together, right? So that's what I would reckon, right? So there are differences, but there are also similarities. Okay, I think we are out of time, so thank you so much again. Hope it was useful. Yeah, happy to pick up any questions later.